Okay, this quick video is just to kind of walk you through your Google Drive for this kind of first lab. Through your Google Drive link that's inside of your Canvas, once you click on it, it's going to bring you to this SOP Project Student Resources tab. So a couple of things in here. This first list is going to be a copy of the group info. So when you click on it, it will open up a Google file that has all of the groups, right? And so just a couple things. If you were absent whenever your groups were made during a lab, your name is highlighted in orange, and so you were assigned to a group. You can see here that the group number is listed, and then we have your day, time, and instructor in case you weren't sure. And then we have your species common name and scientific name. So your group was responsible for submitting what species you would like to do, but we said we can't promise necessarily that you would get that particular species. And there's over 400 students participating, and so we wanted to make sure there was kind of an even distribution of mammals, plants, amphibians, and reptiles. And so here you can see your common name and scientific name. And remember, these were species that are have been identified at Palo Pinto Mountain State Park, because remember, we are gathering information that will be contributed to the park. In green means that we sent an email invite to your specific group folder. So group number 1 has an invite to only the folder that group 1 would work in, etc. If it's highlighted in yellow, it means that an email invite was sent, but there weren't Gmails inside of the group. So I encourage you to create a Gmail to work inside of this Google Drive. If for some reason you didn't get the invite, but your other group members did, your group members can send an invite on their own to you using the Gmail. If you go into, you won't see this part, but only you will be able to see group 1, for example, if you're in group 1. If you're in group 2, you'll only see group 2. So if I click on group 1, I can see that there are folders created here that you can take a look at. And there is a place for you to kind of record working notes with your groups. We encourage you to type up notes in here as your group is working, to-do list, who's doing what, etc. That's just for you to kind of use on your own. This first folder is what you'll want to kind of focus on first. So in here, this Google Doc tells you, how we want you to kind of organize and collect your information. So inside of this Google folder, the subfolder journal articles, you can start creating subfolders. So you can have a subfolder for habitat, a subfolder for life history, a subfolder for ecological significance. So as you find things, you'll want to upload them here. Now, just to be clear, we want you to put them here, but if it's an assignment, so your individual assignment is to find a peer-reviewed journal article. And so inside of your Canvas, if you click on assignments, and scroll down, you can see that there is a place to submit your peer-reviewed journal article. So you need to be collecting it in your Google Drive so you and your group members can see what you are collecting. But in order to submit for a grade for this particular assignment, you have to turn it in no later than 11:30 p.m. On this date in order to get credit for that particular assignment. Okay. So I'll go back to the student resources. Again, you won't necessarily see all of these things that I'm opening. Okay, so back to just the article assignment resources now. So what this lab is about. In here, I have a copy of that overview that you can take a look at. The ultimate poster criteria, which I describe in the overview PowerPoint, it is just detailed more here. Remember, within your group, each of you are going to select one of these areas to become an expert in. And so here you can read a little bit more about things that might get your mind going in the right direction. If you are a 5th member, you will work on ecological significance, which you can read right here. These sections down here are additional things that the entire group will be working on over the next couple months that must be a part of your final poster. And so make sure you take some time to work on these things here. But as far as your first assignment goes, finding a peer-reviewed journal article, you're focusing on one of these areas, and make sure that you don't duplicate. So only one person in your group should be working on habitat, only one on life history, etc. You can help each other, but as far as turning in for the assignment, that first one, you only need to become an expert in one. We're going to be using APA format for turning in citations and our references. If you click here, there's some links that will help you out with how to cite in APA. And then here's a guide on how to use the Ulrich resource from the Tarleton database. It tells you how to check if your source is peer-reviewed. So by peer-reviewed, we mean this isn't just information that one person kind of came up with. It's a very very hard process that someone goes through to be able to publish their information in a peer-reviewed journal. And so this information is reviewed by other experts in the field. And if it's published, it's deemed that this is very strong, rigorous, accurate information. And so we don't want to be using random Google pages. We want to make sure that we are using peer-reviewed sources, and that guide tells you how to do so. This video here will walk you through how to search the Tarleton online databases. So there are databases there that will give you access to journals. That way you don't have to pay to get access to those journals. And it also walks you through how to use the Ulrich kind of checking for peer-reviewed. You're also welcome to use Google Scholar to search for your articles, but just make sure that you're using the Ulrich to check if that journal that you find in Google Scholar is peer-reviewed. There'll be more to come to walk you through kind of your Google Drive, but this is kind of the first part that will get you started on your project.